Well, good morning. It is Sunday, 8/18, and we had some stormy weather overnight, but the severe threat is over for the Tennessee Valley as we take a look at your satellite radar. So we have severe weather still ongoing for parts of the Carolinas. Looks like severe thunderstorm watches in effect for South Georgia. Severe thunderstorm warnings extending from the Florida Panhandle all the way up to parts of North Carolina. So that's a pretty continuous stretch of some severe weather. Looks like the main gust right now going to be strong winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. So this front moving in for us, rain showers still going to be around, but it's going to get a lot colder here shortly. Here's a look at how things kind of played out earlier this morning. This line was booking it across the Tennessee Valley. We had tornado watches in effect, several warnings here across portions of the Tennessee Valley, including Jackson County, down into DeKalb County, severe thunderstorm warnings from the Plateau all the way down to Hamilton County. And look how things kind of progressed. So by 2 o'clock, we were still in the thick of things. We had a tornado warning for Dade and Walker County. And then by the time we got to around 3:30, which was I came in to relieve David around that time, that's when things started to die down this line weekend. And the warnings were allowed to expire by about 4:45. Then we just had some heavy rain and then another batch of rain earlier this morning. So we had several warnings, a few tornado warnings, but I haven't heard of any confirmed tornadoes touching down here across our coverage area. But we do have some wind damage to talk about. Storm reports of trees down across portions of Bradley, Marion, and Bledsoe counties, with more reports off to our south and west. And we zoom out, a lot of wind damage, no touchdown or no tornadoes reported, at least as of yet, with the preliminary storm reports. And we had a lot of flooding to our north across portions of Kentucky, West Virginia, Virginia, and parts of Tennessee. So it's been an active 24-hour period across much of the Ohio Valley, deep south. But for us, fortunately, we didn't have any widespread severe weather, but we do have some power outages, and it's going to stay windy throughout the day. Wind advisories in effect for pretty much our entire coverage area until midday across southeast Tennessee, same for Georgia, and until 9 o'clock for Jackson and DeKalb counties, and that's central time. So the winds are still going to be pretty strong. It's been roaring here in Chattanooga. I've been hearing it on our rooftops. You can kind of just hear it. Yeah, it's been a breezy start. So those gusts will be as high as 35, maybe even 40 miles per hour, gradually dying down this evening into the overnight hours. So we're going to be pretty windy throughout the day. The latest gust from the Chattanooga airport was 40 miles per hour. So we have a pretty strong little system coming through, even behind this front, strong gradient wind. So gust up to, again, 30, 35, maybe 40 miles per hour going to be possible through this morning, with winds relaxing somewhat as we move into your evening. And even with the severe threat gone, our power outage threat has actually went up. So the gusts behind this system are about as strong, if not stronger, than what we were having as that severe weather came through. We now have 3,000 customers without power here across parts of Hamilton County, 1,000 without power across Bradley County, 200 in Walker County, 700 in Chattooga. And again, this is as of 8/21, so these numbers will change, every 15 to 20 minutes. So you can actually check this out, poweroutages.usa, if you want to see how many power outages we have across the county or across the state or in your community specifically. But again, a lot of power outages now showing up, and a lot of that's due to the winds that are starting to pick up. Again, the ground's saturated. We could have trees going down, especially if they're dead trees or have weak root systems. So still going to have that as a concern throughout the rest of your day. Plus, temperatures are starting to fall very rapidly. Here in North Chattanooga, it's 47. About an hour ago, it was close to 60 degrees. So we're dropping like a rock. Still 56 at the airport, 48 in Dayton, but look at Altamont at 38. So that cold air is coming in like a lion this morning. By the time we get into lunch hour, low 40s here in the valley. But by 11 p.m., back below freezing. And even by about 7, we'll be close to freezing. And tomorrow morning, here's a look at your morning temperatures. 18 Altamont, 25 from Athens to Cleveland, 23 in Murphy and Blue Ridge. So it's going to be bitterly cold as we get into the overnight hours. So just brace yourself. The cold air is here, and it's going to get colder throughout the day. The clouds stick around, and then we could have a few high elevation snow showers a little bit later on today. So as we take a look at your storm tracker, again, the precipitation is pretty much wrapping up. After about 2, 3 o'clock, we'll have that cold air moving in. Additional moisture going to lead to some light snow showers across the Cumberland Plateau and maybe along the Tennessee-North Carolina line as well. That'll continue through Monday morning before the moisture kind of dissipates. But there could be, quick dusting to a half of an inch in parts of the Plateau, northern Marion County, up through Grundy, northern Sequatchie, Van Buren, Bledsoe, up through I-40, with some better accumulations further north across Kentucky, Ohio, and again along the Tennessee-North Carolina line. So we could have a flake or two try to show up here in the valley, especially tomorrow morning. Wouldn't be completely surprised, but not expecting any significant impacts. Now, snow is going to be in the forecast for parts of the valley by the time we get into Wednesday. I don't think this system's going to be a huge deal. Certainly nothing like what we had back in January, unless something major changes here with the next couple of model runs. But there looks to be snow in the morning on Wednesday, transitioning to a rain-snow mix during the afternoon. Going to be a better chance of accumulation the further north you go. Chattanooga, North Georgia, Northeast Alabama. Yeah, you'll probably see some flakes, but there's going to be a lot of mixing. And when you get the rain-snow mix, it's really hard for any accumulation. There's still uncertainties, the cold air availability, how cold is it going to be, and how much moisture are we going to have, because this is going to be a quick-moving system. So if we have more moisture and a deepening low pressure to our south, we could get higher totals. If the cold air is a little bit deeper, we'll have a better chance of some accumulating snow. But this time of the year, we're working against a higher sun angle. Again, in January, the sun angle is lower, so it was a lot easier for the accumulations to start to stick on the roads and the grassy surfaces. Now the sun angle's higher, and temperatures aren't going to be as cold as that system back in January. So I'm not expecting major travel issues as of now. Certainly will be some slick spots, especially north of the city. But we're going to kind of track this out. We'll use the European model. Again, this is just an idea of what could happen. These will change. But by Tuesday night, clouds continue to thicken up. And then by Wednesday morning, again, this is around 5 o'clock, we got a little bit of wintry mix with snow north of Chattanooga, rain-snow mix across North Georgia, and then transitioning to snow. And then we're going to have that rain-snow line in pink, maybe even a little bit of sleet showing up across North Georgia. By the time we get into the afternoon, pretty good chance that a warm nose or warm air starts to sneak in, similar to what we had last time, and likely transition over to more of a rain-snow mix, and then potentially going back to more of a snow event by the time we kind of wrap up and the moisture's moving out. So it's likely to be a little bit of snow at the beginning, sloppy mess in the middle, and then maybe a little bit of snow at the end as we close out the end of Wednesday with a few flurries lingering into Thursday morning. So certainly not a straightforward event. Now this is the GFS. Timing's pretty similar. Got that rain-snow mix coming in during the morning, likely transitioning to more of a snow event, especially north of the Tennessee state line. And then you can see that green starting to show up during the mid-morning. And this has a lot less moisture, so a lot quicker moving system, just a quick little bout in the morning and early afternoon, and then things are pretty much done. So there are differences. The Europeans, a longer duration event during Wednesday. The GFS is a shorter duration event with still snow, but both are indicating that we'll see some flakes as we get into your Wednesday. Now, accumulations, again, this could be overdoing it, but this is what the latest European is showing. A couple inches possible from Calhoun to Chattanooga. This would keep the heavier stuff in North Carolina, especially the Piedmont, and then to our north. But still, there is going to be a fine cutoff. So the cold air availability is going to be a problem. The storm track is going to be very important. Southerly track means the colder air can get a little further south. We'll have a better chance of seeing more snow. A northerly track is going to give us that rain-snow mix with temperatures climbing above freezing, and that's going to limit our impacts. So if you don't want impacts, that's going to be the best scenario. But something worth watching. And the GFS, a lot less bullish. Higher amounts further north you go, with North Georgia maybe getting a sloppy inch with pretty much nothing the further south you get. So there's going to be a sharp cutoff. And again, it could snow in Chattanooga, we could get a couple inches, or we could get a rain-snow mix for much of the day on Wednesday with no accumulations. That's also a possibility. I'm pretty confident that we see flakes falling, but I think as far as accumulations go, not really ready to put out a map yet, but I think we could get a couple of inches from Chattanooga north. Higher amounts the further north you get, Dayton, Athens, even Cleveland, Altamont, with lower amounts across North Georgia. So cold air is going to be a little bit of an issue here. I think during the day on Wednesday we will warm above freezing, which will, again, make for a sloppy mess of rain, snow, maybe even some sleet. And this is the latest. Actually, the latest GFS has less than this. So that was earlier. Now we're down to 1.3. So amounts are coming down a little bit, but still pretty good probability of about an inch of snow or more. But look how that cutoff is across North Georgia. Again, you're looking about, from Chattanooga north, anywhere from a 50 to 80% chance of an inch of snow or more, with less than a 50% chance the further south you go across North Georgia. And you can see the key down there at the bottom. This is the European. The GFS, again, not as bullish as the European. Looks like North Georgia not getting much of, at all, or a low probability of an inch or more snow. So again, this is a kind of a tricky system, not very straightforward, but we're getting into range where I'm confident saying we'll get some snow. Not confident saying we're going to get a whole lot of accumulation. I wouldn't expect, what we had back in January, but there is certainly the potential for decent snow accumulation north of Chattanooga, especially in some of the higher elevations where there will be some colder temperatures. So I'm not expecting high impact event as of now, but things can change, and if the track shifts to the south and we get a little more cold air, could be a higher impact event. But nonetheless, it's something I'm watching closely at this point. Today, going to be about the wind, going to be some power outages, going to turn a lot colder. Tonight, a hard freeze. The next 2 days, going to be nice and dry, but cold. Highs in the 40s, overnight lows below freezing. Watching Wednesday for a potential winter event that could bring some snow, rain mix to the Tennessee Valley. Light accumulation certainly will be possible, especially north of Chattanooga. More of a mixing situation across North Georgia. And then Thursday, Friday, by far our coldest air the month. I mean, we're talking overnight lows in the teens. Highs might not even get above freezing on Thursday. And then by this weekend, we slowly start to rebound. But it's going to be cold the next 7 days, beginning now, all the way through Saturday, maybe even next Sunday. So after a very warm start to February, we're transitioning to a very cold week here as we get into the third week of the month. So again, big story going to be what happens on Wednesday. We'll have more later today, and I'll keep watching model trends and kind of get an idea of how things are going to set up for this next system. So stay tuned for more updates and have a safe rest of your day.